Meanwhile, back here at home, if you're an honest broker, even if you're on the other side of the aisle, you realize what the president did was enormous. Decades and decades of battle and conflicts, and he got peace. And he's getting some praise from some normal critics. Chuck Schumer, the minority leader, said, "I commend the enormous advocacy of the tireless hostage family, President Trump, his administration, and all who helped make this moment happen." Kamala Harris said, "I commend the leaders and partners whose efforts made this agreement possible, including the president and his team." And then Bill Clinton said, Ainsley, "President Trump and his administration, Qatar, and other regional actors deserve a great deal of credit for keeping everyone engaged until the agreement was reached."
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. I think that's great that you have both sides of the aisle praising this, because these are human beings that had been in captivity, and we saw the way that they were taken, and also humanitarian aid going into to help the Palestinians. So both sides should be happy with this. But Joe Biden and Anthony Blinken are taking credit for the groundwork behind this ceasefire. And Blinken put on X, "It's good that President Trump adopted and built on the plan the Biden administration developed." This is a partial post from Joe Biden. "The road to this deal was not easy. My administration worked relentlessly to bring hostages home, get relief to Palestinian civilians, and end the war. I commend President Trump and his team for their work to get a renewed ceasefire deal over the finish line."
And Lawrence, earlier you spoke to Representative Josh Gottheimer, who made the very important point that credit should be given to where credit is due, regardless of what your political disagreements are in other areas.
We should give credit where it's due, and this is not a partisan thing. We should all be very proud as Americans of our leadership. This is one of those things where everybody who is involved, but especially the parents, everybody should be very proud. And now, as you know, the key is keeping Hamas's feet to the fire. We have to hold them accountable until we get every single one out, so that these families can have closure and properly mourn. And and then, of course, we have to make sure that Hamas lays down their weapons and hands over governing power. So there's a lot of work still to do. We all have to work together, stop pointing fingers, and just get this done. And to me, that's the most important thing. Again, great American leadership yesterday. We should all be very proud.
So real quickly, as it relates to former President Biden, I give him some grace because he clearly did not write that post, and he doesn't have all his faculties there. So, I mean, there's bigger issues facing that. But when it comes to Blinken, I mean, dude, have some self-worth as a man. When you realize that someone else has gotten the job done, just give him credit. Just don't say anything at all. But to take credit for another man's and his team's hard work, going out there, putting the groundwork out there, developing relationships, have some self-worth. I just don't think most practical, reasonable people, including the former President Bill Clinton and Secretary Hillary Clinton, acknowledge what the
Joe
president
Biden didn't have the strength to go and destroy the nuclear facilities in Iran. Joe Biden didn't have the strength to go and meet with all the Middle Eastern Arab countries and get all of them to the table to do this deal. He didn't have people on his team that were going over there trying to negotiate constantly. Maybe Blinken took some trips over there, but Donald Trump was asked about it by Peter Doocy on Air Force One, and he said, everybody knows it's a joke. Look, they did such a bad job. This never should have happened. If a decent president were in, you would not have had the Russia-Ukraine war. This is a bad policy by Biden and Obama, he says.
Yeah, he didn't have the strength, courage, or vision to do any of those things.
So well said.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.